Warning: the voices heard in this video are made synthetically using artificial intelligence. Nothing in this video reflects anything actually stated by the real-life individuals involved. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and serious political content will be avoided for that purpose. Enjoy.
Peace among world's viewers. It's your proper and precise appointed President Trump here to peruse the pirate waifus.
Well, before the gooning begins, if you're wondering why Aveline and Carver have different armor equipped, it's thanks to the armor diversification mod. Varric also has the Isaac's DLC armor, but that doesn't show up on him properly.
This does give us slightly better stats, so Donald should have an easier time, but we think it's worth it to showcase more of the cool armors in this game.
Oh boy, it's time, boys. I can smell it already.
Now you're speaking my language, Bill.
Wait, Bill, why are you here?
You know exactly why I'm here, Barack.
Shut up, Timro. Oh my God. Jag tyckte mig höra den gamle mannen säga, lämna henne Johnny, lämna henne.
Well, at least we got one episode before this started.
That dude is the same as me for real. If Isabella looked at me like that, she could get a full course combo finisher on me, if you know what I mean.
No, Bill, I'm pretty sure no one here knows what you mean. Also, I can't lie, this is a crazy feat from Isabella Girl didn't even need to use a weapon until the end.
Dragon Age 2 definitely fills in the role of girl bosses, just as well as Origins. Isabella does what she wants and looks good doing it, and we all love that for her.
Big facts from the former president over here. I see the leave of office has really opened your third eye.
Oh my God, boys, I don't think I've ever been more in love in all my years. Joe, do you still have your dog collar on you? I am about to do a stage walk across this bar.
Right here, go nuts. I won't need to borrow it until my episode, because I already know you're going to recruit everyone but Meryl this episode.
You know me so well, I'm only focusing on the base companions in this episode, so that includes my pirate wife and my mage-hating edgelord Fenris.
Don't you even think about adding the final fantasy reject to your playthrough. I still have my bone-breaking stick.
Fuck you, I do what I want.
Donald, are you good? You kind of had a mile-long stare going on for a few seconds.
Yeah, I just ate something bad, and I'm not caught up on sleep from running the country as all hop off.
He's been doing that all day, especially when mentioning anything about mages or Fenris, but don't bother getting a straight answer out of him.
Yeah, because it's not any of your damn business. It's an active presidential-elect issue only. You know what, this might be controversial, but thank God Mage actually won, because now we can bring my girl Isabella with us without our party literally being a rogue orgy.
Donald finding actual value in playing a mage was not on my bingo card for 2025, but I will take it.
A rogue orgy with Anders at the helm is a more viable strat than you would think, albeit it takes insane party management. Anyways, a few fun facts about Isabella here. Her introduction is different depending on whether you chose male or female Hawk. Her introduction is also different if she slept with the hero of Ferelden, but since we just won in a game of Wicked Grace, she doesn't really mention it.
Wait, you guys didn't have POTUS bang the queen of the pirates? Who the hell decided that?
Yeah, you can thank Barry for that one. He chose to play a card game with the hot tavern wench instead of docking in her port town.
Wait, I almost forgot about that. Fuck you for that, Obama. POTUS could have canonically banged the two hottest waifus in the series, viewers. I hope you all still unsubscribed because of this goddamn nerd.
Well, now you get a second chance in two. Fuck me, I guess, for choosing the road less traveled and showing some different content for the viewers. Anyway, as I was saying, Isabella, like Anders, had a voice actor change from her original Origins encounter. In Origins, she was voiced by Mika Simmons, who voices Enora, but in 2, Inquisition, and Veilguard, she is voiced by Victoria Kruger. Unlike Anders, though, since Isabella wasn't a major character in Origins, it is much less noticeable, and she also keeps the same accent from Origins, unlike Anders.
That's crazy. I can barely notice a difference in her voice. Victoria did a crazy good job. She deserves more credit for that than she gets, but I imagine Isabella's writer stayed the same in both games, so that helps too.
Yeah, congrats to Victoria, because this voice makes her sound way hotter and brings a new meaning to standing at attention, boys.
Loving the wordplay, this was definitely the right episode to backseat on. Also, it's too bad George isn't here for this base dwarven fact. But the portrait behind Isabella's favorite seat in the bar is actually the concept art of Auburn from Origins.
Even when he's not in a game over and still hunts the taverns of Thetis with his aura, that's the definition of based. And speaking of base dwarfs, let's go visit our new best friend Varric.
My boy has a private room for just me and him. This is the kind of treatment I'm talking about. Me and Varric are already on the same page.
Varric wrote the book on being a true homie and a true bro. It's too bad POTUS didn't meet him so he could add him to the base dwarf squad. That being said, Varric also uses new wealth to extend his contact reach as well as pay for mass publication of his books in a world where printing presses are rare.
I actually forget that Varric and Hawk split the loot 50-50, and he should be just as rich as Hawk is, but he doesn't live like Hawk does, he just stays in Low Town. Bro is probably single-handedly keeping the Hanged Man in business. Also, Donald, you're being way too edgy. Varric is not on board with the renegade edgelord life.
Look, Varric just isn't on my level of grind yet. I have to increase my renegade aura if I'm going to pull the pirate waifu this playthrough and also get those sweet renegade interrupts.
I've spent my whole life in Kirkwall. Dangerous enough most days, but it doesn't compare to the deep roads. So, this will be, let's just call it an adventure.
Anyways, boys, with the rogues appeased, let's head into Hightown and test out our squad's new gear.
Looks like you have your first gang random encounter on the streets of Kirkwall. Most of these are just padding to extend the game time since Dragon Age 2 was massively underdeveloped in terms of plot points, but a few of them, like the Carta Dwarves, have a small bit of lore to them.
Yeah, well, so far, it looks like I'm immune to being jumped by the smugglers, so these guys picked the wrong goddamn target to mess with. Seriously, these guards have worse threat detection than Skyrim bandits. What the hell is their plan here, even?
The guard impersonators are simply pretending to be official guards in order to jump people and likely scam nobles by acting like official guards, carrying out city business. These gang encounters are part of rotating gangs that plague Hightown, Lowtown, and Docktown and change between all 3 acts. Defeating all 9 gang leaders gives us some extra lore and a bonus reward, so in the interest of time we will show our fight with each gang the first time then. At the end of the act we will clear all 3 bosses, hopefully that evens out, so we can all take out the same amount of bosses, but who knows.
Well, let's go help our favorite pirate out with her nighttime duel that definitely will have no funny business.
Fun fact, this quest here was part of the Dragon Age 2 demo, along with the ogre battle in Lothering from the last episode. I imagine they did this to show some hype for a returning character from Origins being a possible companion. They also likely did this so there's less chance to miss this quest, because Isabella and Fenris are technically optional recruitment members in this game. Isabella is especially easy to miss, because you need to go to the Hanged Man after finishing Anders' quest, and there isn't an official reason to go back to the Hanged Man besides side quests.
Well, I would never refuse going out of my way to look for Isabella. I mean, just look at the assets she brings. That being said, viewers, let us know if you missed either of these companions your first time around. Also, I hope these pirates are getting paid well, because this is going to cost them more than the dumbasses bargained for.
So Donald, now that you've taken it out for a spin, how do you like Mage so far?
Well, it's not as broken as Magic in Dark Souls or Origins, but it's still stupidly safe, and my inner warrior main feels dirty using it. But if I have to fight for Mommy Morrigan's honor, then I will, and I'm already calling it now. I'm going to do this episode deathless, boys.
Big talk, Donald. Let's see if you can put your money where your mouth is. Also ignoring the fact that the pirates were dumb enough to have a letter on them where their boss is, you boys already went to the Chantry last episode for the Anders quest. It's literally the second quest in Kirkwall, and the maps have already started repeating.
Oh shit, so that's why you have to do Anders' quest before doing Isabella's, otherwise I imagine the quest would overlap and bug out. Damn, that's far less interesting than what I thought the reason was.
Yeah, Act 1 is not as guilty of doing this as the later titles, since most of the maps you will have seen for the first time, however. By Act 2, the repeating maps will become way more overwhelming and will become burned in our brains, so everyone remember to take their migraine medication. Maybe we should install a counter that covers how many times we see the same map in this playthrough, so we know which one is the most egregious.
Yeah, let's definitely do that and start listing them out at the finale or something. We won't count the Kirkwall outside maps, just the interior dungeons. Viewers, every time you notice a repeating map at home, take a shot starting now.
Please, for the love of God, don't do that. You are going to shut down the livers of a few hundred Dragon Age fans.
You're assuming that the viewers aren't already loaded when they start watching us, Donald, which is a fairly big ask considering how much nonsense 40 hours of this content is, but drunk or sober, we still love you. Speaking of love, here's everyone's most lovable people, the Anivans, known for their honor and honesty.
Between Zevran and these guys, it looks like Anivans just send men to kill you for every small slight against them, or to just say hi at this point. Also, this dude is talking a lot of big game for someone who has normal Tier 3 chainmail.
Also saying slaves scurried away like rats is devious work, acting like those aren't real people.
Wait, hold up, 100 gold ahead. Jesus Christ, every day in Kirkwall we learn that adventuring is the wrong line of work to be in. We could have been bankrolling an empire if we got into slavery or lyrium smuggling. Let's have a business meeting with Bartran about expanding our assets into new horizons.
Donald, I feel personally targeted at this conversation topic, so I'm going to kindly ask you say psych right now.
Oh, calm down, Varric. I'm just doing it to get our bag up. Besides, I won't do something wrong like make it racist. I will just target mages specifically. That way everybody wins and we have all the money we could ever need.
I will fucking end you, fat ass!
Your threats end here.
That was really impressive considering that chick was wearing chainmail.
Oh, right. That's the one she takes out during the shaboinking scene that she keeps directly in her vagina.
Okay, nope, we cannot say that on YouTube, Donald. We are going to change the subject. So this is the first boss we have faced since the ogre fight in Lothering. But between the 6 squad mates, including Isabella and Carter here, this shouldn't be a difficult battle. Also, raiders are weak to lightning damage, along with elves, so we have a massive advantage in this fight with our chain lightning.
You're no fun, Barry. But that being said, is there a lore reason for these weaknesses? Some of these seem like random gameplay decisions.
Well, raiders are shipmen, right, which means they are on the sea a lot. I guess you could apply Pokemon logic that water is weak to electricity, but that would make more sense if we were fighting these guys in Docktown.
Yeah, it's definitely just a gameplay reason. No other explanation is needed. One other thing about this guy is that he has a sword in Inquisition that can be a random drop. I even looked it up on the wiki and it's confirmed his. What a random ass boss to give a rare weapon to.
Not going to lie, I think the developers picked that out of a hat, like they did Jarvia's weapons being in 2. Anyway, should we talk about the elephant in the room here, boys? And it's that Isabella, like many of 2 squad mates, keeps a big secret from you and has their own betrayal moment too.
Mommy Isabella's grind is above the law. She is just trying to make it in this cold and difficult city.
Again, Donald, we know you have drank the pirate Kool-Aid. You don't have to make it more apparent. I honestly love this plot point, especially since this does stick with Isabella in the long run. While it's fitting for her character, since she is someone who has been used all her life and she assumed Hawk at the start was going to use her too, and her realizing Hawk is a true friend or partner and coming back is touching. Although having said all that, I have 2 massive problems with it. One, it's too goddamn obvious as soon as the Arishok says why he is here, that Isabella is responsible. Secondly, it's a string of betrayals that Dragon Age 2 throws at Hawk, and it gets to a point that we just become numb to it.
Okay, but I think you will find Isabella has 2 massive counterpoints to your argument, Varric.
Oh yes, old reliable from you. If you're hot, you're not responsible for your crimes.
Big facts, Varric, but besides that, she also is going through a lot right now, losing her former crewmates, and also she had a rough childhood. So hop off.
Nice display of empathy, Donald. But if we could double back to that slavery topic from earlier. I'm pretty sure the Templars and Chantry, who are the original slaver owners to the mages, will want to have a few words about that. So like every member of our party, including the 2 you are recruiting right now.
I mean, hell, Fenris will probably just one-tap him.
All right? It has a few kinks I need to work out. We will double back to it later.
Evelyn and Isabella beefing from her recruitment quest is peak. They go from one of the biggest catfights and rivals in gaming to legitimately the best friendship in the series who have a deep respect for each other.
Maybe one day you and Donald can put aside your egos and become rival friends too, Joe.
Fuck no!
Really reaching for the stars with that one Varric, but I can kind of respect the optimism. Anyways, now that Isabella's double entendre have sufficiently inspired me, I'm going to have a new Make It sex session now. Good luck, boys.
Oh, fuck, boys. She invited me to her room already. We are so goddamn going for a test drive later. Carver, get the fuck out of this party immediately. The real star is here.
Oh, Isabella is a star, all right, but a star that starts with a rhyme of corn. Anyway, I guess we are immediately shifting from Isabella's recruitment to Fenris's recruitment.
I mean, it's already canonically nighttime, so might as well capitalize on it and get the other base nighttime companion.
Damn, our Hawk is going to have a long-ass night, bro. Is about to be up for 24 hours straight today. Truly a fate worse than death. Oh, and of course we have our 5th Dragon Age 2-mandated ambush of the night, as is tradition.
These are the Sharps, and they are a little more than normal bandits, although there's a small lore point to cover about their leader Ignacio Strand, since he shares a similar name and profession to Ignacio from the Enabon Crow's questline and Origins. I've seen a few fan theories that they are the same character, but their model looks distinctly different from Origins, and Ignacio Strand appears even if you killed Ignacio in Origins. so it is safe to say they are different characters, although you can never really know.
Do these guys share the same water Pokemon weakness as the Raiders, because I'm kind of destroying them left and right?
No, the Sharps share the same model as coterie thugs who have no elemental weakness but in turn have low armor and health. Since you have 3 physical attackers, this should be no problem for you.
Good job recasting Heroic Aura on yourself, Donald. The damage and defense buff doesn't retransfer to the part when you switch members, so you have to constantly recast it and upkeep it.
Why the hell did you make me grab this spell anyway? You kept stroking it off till I gave in.
Heavy pause.
And so far, I'm not seeing any massive returns on investment. Isabella, my wife, no, she's going down, boys.
Damn, that's probably a common occurrence. For her serves you right for talking a big game about Isabella when she's squishy as hell at the moment and needs a lot more management. The reason I made you grab the spell is mostly for the defense buff that is party-wide, which, as you can see, we desperately need, but also because once we hit level 7, we need to grab haste as quickly as possible, since we can stack it with Anders' haste to be beyond broken.
My God, this is already worse than Origins, and Veilguard, you two are double-teaming me, so we have permanent brain-dead optimization.
Moving on, though, let's go hit up another dwarf to start our quest.
This guy seems really jumpy. Have you gotten into Hunter's nightstand, buddy? Let me check your pupils.
Joe, you're not supposed to self-burn yourself. It takes all the fun out of our arrangement here. That being said, bro, is the most jumpy dwarf imaginable. You are insulting POTUS and the other non-living paragons with your cowardice, so speak up.
Considering Bro hasn't been on the surface long, that insult holds true, however. He's just jumpy because he is an independent lyrium smuggler in a city with 2 well-established lyrium operations between the Merchants Guild and the coterie dwarves. Bro probably half expected just to get shanked. But hey, Donald, you said you wanted to get in on the lyrium smuggling trade, so now's your chance, I guess.
Well, independent work would be far more profitable compared to trying to work for an established market where they have a hierarchy and unpaid interns, so this would be easy goddamn money if he was actually offering a partnership with us. But sadly, this is all a ruse.
So is Bro actually a lyrium smuggler, or is he some random surface dwarf Fenris paid to help him out?
He definitely is doing something illegal, given that Mom comment and most surface dwarfs either become merchants or smugglers, and Anso seems certainly a member of the former. Although there's no confirmation one way or another, he could just have anxiety. Seems like a common affliction in Kirkwall.
Wouldn't be the first ball of anxiety we take pity on, so let's get this non-lucrative bread, boys. Also, we keep building up Aveline's rivalry every episode. This is not going to turn out well.
The gentlemen conduct their business at night in a little hovel within the alienage. If you have to kill them, then I guess it can't.
Note she will be fine. I will build it back up during my next episode. Also, Isabella's reference to going where everyone knows your name is the second Cheers reference associated with the bar. Although I'm sure, like everything she says, she had a double meaning with that statement.
You know, it's crazy how Gamlen's house is 10 feet from the Hanged Man, but we never actually see him at the bar ever in the game. Like, why even get prime real estate towards the best fantasy dive bar if you're not going to ever go in yourself?
Bro prefers the Blooming Rose for the company, plus like every other strip club and brothel, I'm sure the wings are way better there than the Hanged Man.
Also, don't forget to grab the first Enigma of Kirkwall in the Elven Alienage at night. We will go over every location during our series, not only for the lore, but for the achievement as well. These are a collection of studies about the city of Kirkwall from the Seekers of Truth, and go over much of the relevant history, anthropology, and sociology of Kirkwall. This study was to determine the cause of the massive amount of blood magic that seems to plague Kirkwall more so than other places. The 2 main theories are that it is tied to the 4 forbidden ones existing here. One of them we met in Origins, Gax Kang, and another we will meet in Act 2, or as Legacy will expand upon Corypheus, also has influence among mages in the city, albeit more passively.
Don't give those mages any excuses. They did this shit on their own. These Chantry Seekers need to stick to following Cassandra instead of trying to run defense for the mages.
I've always been more on the Forgotten Ones being involved. There's a lot of lore supporting it, and they are the goddamn founders of blood magic in the world. That being said, Corypheus would explain the Tevinter influence, so it's something we should debate about during this series, boys. Although we have plenty of time for that.
Chat, let us know your opinion when you get a break from the Mage Templar debate, please. That being said, how many goddamn coterie thugs are we going to fight in this section? We have spent the last 5 minutes killing the same looking dudes in the same red and brown armor. Was there some kind of clearance sale or something?
These guys are not making it into Fashion Week. Unlike our squad mates, whose drip is all semi-finalists. Speaking of bad drip, though, look at these bozos.
Damn, for someone who wrangles slaves, you think you guys could afford something other than basic iron armor. With dumb masks, love yourself for Sandel's sake.
Oh, buddy, this is not going to end well for you, I promise. Weird that Hawk has some telepathic knowledge that these are Tevinter slaves. It kind of spoils the reveal later, but I guess that's what the game gets for not changing names around. Anyways, this is our first fight with Tevinter slavers, and unlike Origins, these are going to be almost as common as Darkspawn to fight. Apparently, even though Tevinter has been kicked out centuries ago, they still roam around Kirkwall like they own the place.
It's even more ironic since they are operating in a land called the Free Marches. You would think with that kind of branding, Kirkwall would do more to prevent this.
I mean, you can't be too surprised. It's a free market area, and slaves go for 100 sovereigns a head. Those are some good ROI, boys.
Calm down, business school. Also, hey, it's our first enemy mage fun.
It's like he was waiting for me to curb stomp him. That being said, fuck enemy mages in this game. Their entire range on tactics is just to teleport into different corners and put up a fuck you stasis shield where they can't be damaged. And there's no counter for it other than to wait with our thumbs in our ass.
I thought about installing a mod that puts the shield on a long cooldown, making it only usable once per fight for enemies. But I thought it would ruin the design and make the game too easy, so I decided against it. As annoying as the tactic might be, it's not a very good one. The mage can't do anything while he is in his safety bubble, and we can just simply demolish his friends and dogpile him when his cooldown pops.
It's like waiting on a Zhonyas in League of Legends, that someone popped at the end of a fight to stall the pentakill.
Now that the ambush inside of another ambush is finished, let's go watch the scene, boys.
But I have no idea what this bullcut plans on doing here after we just clapped up all his dudes.
Lieutenant, I want everyone in the clearing, now!
Looks like those reinforcements got delayed. It's so hard to find good help these days.
Captain!
Bro killed a bunch of dudes without looking at them. That's the definition of based. Get this man on the squad immediately.
More like the definition of edgelord, but looks like bro couldn't put his money where his mouth is and got folded Kali Ma style. Anyways, everyone, welcome the eye candy for the girls in this game, Fenris the edgelord of Tevinter.
Also known as the edgy Templar cosplayer who picks a fight if you even say good morning to a mage. It's no wonder Donald likes him.
He has a good reason. He was tortured and forced into slavery from birth and was given a ritual so painful that he lost all his memories and has been otherwise treated as a tool all his life. This was all done by mages, mind you. I don't think most people would be willing to trust or spend time with mages after that. Although all that being said, Fenris is a bit of a victim of that 2010s marketing edge where every character has to be dark and gritty to be seen as interesting. I mean, what the hell is he even wearing?
It's purely tactical armor meant to instill fear in both Tevinter and robes alike. It's just like the Spartan armor from 300. You might not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like.
That armor was just as unrealistic as Fenris's armor is. Heavier armor is always better, unless you're a Roman gladiator. I get the tattoos will show up regardless of what he wears, but good God, does it just look goofy.
At least Bro's voice acting is top-notch. You might also recognize his voice as being every single Imperial soldier from Skyrim Gideon Emery really just lived in my computer during the early 2010s. Man, is really him.
Goated voice actor, goated opener, and goated goals. You two are just haters corrupted by BioWare's pro-mage agenda. Fenris is one of the few saving graces of the other side of the Mage-Templar debate and offers a unique viewpoint. Besides, Bro's powers are cool as hell. He can basically phase walk.
Stop the edgelord meat riding, fat ass.
Also out of game, Fenris would rank very highly on the companion strength tier list. It would take something really crazy to beat a dude who can phase inside you and rip out your organs.
Is Fenris the strongest companion in Dragon Age 2 lore-wise? Gameplay-wise, he's decent, but I think in lore the only people who might have a chance is straight up Hawk Aveline and maybe Anders.
Bro, the healer robe would get one shot. Sleepy, stay the hell away from Hunter's stash. What the hell could he possibly do against Fenris?
Honestly, Joe's list is probably on point. Hawk is a Dragon Age protagonist. He's straight up winning here. Aveline is less raw damage, but she probably has him on durability, and she definitely has far more combat experience, so it would be interesting to see. Vengeance could get one shot, but remember he still has the Grey Warden buff and a spirit inside of him, both of which increase his power significantly. If his spirit came out, Bro might actually have a chance.
I've had enough of this Fenris slander. Go ahead and get your bag ready for me so you can pay me when I put this Magister's head on a pike.
Bro keeps choosing the renegade options that piss Aveline off in favor of Isabella approval. I can see what side Donald is taking when the catfights break out. Also, why the hell does everything always go down in Hightown? This is the third quest in a row where our path takes us there. You would think the place the guards patrol the most would be far better protected and have less of this nonsense.
Well, the first event was a Templar sting operation, and as we have already covered, the Templars overrule the guard, so that was sanctioned. The second event was some rich Antivin raiders who likely just bribed the guard to be there, and the third event is a Tevinter magister technically just living in his residence, so we are actually the criminals in this case.
Don't say that I have enough legal trouble as is. Robes don't have rights anyway in Kirkwall, so this is all above board.
I can't wait to read you your rights in the prison shower, Orange Man.
Nothing to worry about then.
Varric makes a good point. It's actually crazy we are about to attack established Tevinter magister. Wouldn't this cause an incident between Tevinter and Kirkwall if the established politician got killed in his own home here?
Well, I mean, spoiler warning, we end up killing him anyway in Act 3, and there's absolutely no repercussion. There's rarely ever diplomatic immunity in Dragon Age. That all being said, you're going to want to prepare. Accordingly, Donald, this is one of the more difficult fights in the series since Fenris doesn't start properly equipped, and there's quite a bit of enemies that can easily overwhelm you, so watch your corners.
Oh, look, demons, it's been a while since we've gone back to Veilguard gameplay and finally some goddamn variety that isn't just dudes with swords. That being said, Varric, when it comes to a warrior's grind set, I can promise you I am always operating at maximum capacity.
Yeah, just like the White House elevator.
Very funny, Sleepy. Why didn't you pardon another criminal who will actually laugh at your mid-jokes? But as for preparations, I gave my boy Fenris here a full set of DLC armor, and the sword Carver himself wielded, but now he never will, because the weapons fits our Final Fantasy elf perfectly, and it deals bonus damage against demons. So between that Aveline and our good boy Carter, no mid-ass shade is going to take us out or get through our gorgeous and strong warrior wall. Holy shit, that's a lot of demons. Get Bill's saxophone back in here because we have a Gangbang Part 3 editor. Do your thing.
Yeah, replacing the images doesn't make the meme any less dead. Donald, please stop bribing our editor to do these. We'll leave it to Donald to bring out the wall tactics in any game he plays that is our Magneto and Captain America player in Marvel Rivals comp. That being said, it's a perfectly valid strategy, but I would have grabbed Varric instead of Isabella for the range safety. Of course, I imagine that's like asking a dude 10 beers in to not grab his car keys.
Well, while Donald flails around and tries to out-tank the demon horde, what is the Pokemon weakness of these guys, Barry? I want to have a few notes before my first episode.
Demons are weak to nature damage, except for rage demons because they are on fire. Meaning Meryl is always a good choice for demons. Shades are also weak to lightning, which will probably save Donald from being overwhelmed. Rage demons, on the other hand, are only weak to cold damage, which means Anders would have been fairly beneficial here. Every demon essentially has two weaknesses, but they make up for this with high damage and high numbers that can easily overwhelm. Well, we still have plenty of demon combat to go, so while we clear through the mansion, Donald, do you have a comment question prepped for us?
I absolutely do. It came to me after watching Fenris absolutely annihilate a whole squad of Tevinter assholes. So viewers' companions are obviously a big part of what makes the Dragon Age series great. I mean, just look at the sequel. The companions are the only saving grace of this cluster. That being said, how they are introduced is varied, but usually very cinematic. So with that being said, what is your favorite companion introduction in the series, or the most memorable dealer's choice on that one? While Fenris and Isabella are very strong contenders in the cool factor, there is really only one clear winner here. Well, what have we here? Mommy Morrigan is not only alluring, causing even the most iron-willed man to become a Duolingo master, but she also sets up a mystery about her that is unmatched. You can't tell what side she is on yet, but she clearly is getting off the entire time at toying with your party. She also gets right into berating and roasting Alistair, which is an incredible setup to the beautiful chaos that is their dynamic. Yes, I might be biased for my undying love of her, but meeting Morrigan is the one part of Ostagar besides the Grey Warden joining and the battle scene that is peak.
I guess the viewers shouldn't expect anything less from you. As for me, I have to give it to the far superior Mage Meryl. It's cool to have some more expanded time and lore on characters who were relegated to Origin exclusive NPCs, so already recognizing these NPCs is enough to hook you in, especially since her clan is so unkind to her off the bat. However, combine that with her dropping the fact Meryl is casually a blood mage was a plot twist to say the least. The use of blood magic after seeing how much damage it's done in Origins really helps set the theme that this is going to be a different story. And then her going from a lore nerd and blood mage to being this naive, low wisdom girl makes her whole plot a full 360 rotation about what's going to happen. Next, and hooked me into finding out what makes this girl tick.
Not a bad pick, Joe. Her using blood magic for the first time did give me heart problems when I saw it too. As for me, maybe it's the book reader in me, but I love the trope of a former enemy becoming your ally, and while Zevran was the first example of that, I think Nathaniel Howe did it best, or at least the most impactful. Not only was he the son of the most hated character in the series, Howe, and he came here to kill us, and was an overall asshole at the start. But if you look past all of that and show him mercy by letting him go, he does one of the biggest plot twists in the series and asks to become a Grey Warden on his own. He is one of only 2 companions who, even if you reject him, he comes back and asks to be recruited anyway. Or it's something that sticks with me as goated even 3 games later, and is easily my favorite introduction of a companion, despite how flashy some other companions are introduced.
Well, good work being different and not just picking your favorite romance Varric, but viewers, let us know what your favorite companion introduction in the Dragon Age series is. Our editor will read every single one, and our editor's favorite will be featured next episode. But with that being said, Varric Mind featuring our favorite comment from last episode.
With pleasure, Donald, our featured comment comes from Shy Guy 6026, and shout out to his Fenris appreciation since we are recruiting him right now for that double engagement. Shy Guy's favorite Dragon Age opener is Origins, so we share a brain cell clearly, but the roleplay diversity and immersion are what really sold him on Origins, which is based, since Origins' silent protagonist really helps expand your roleplay elements. They also gave a shout out to Inquisition being a close second, so both our picks were fairly featured. Thank you for your comment and can't wait to hear your favorite companion interaction. We also have a few super thanks from the last episode, so Joe, would you mind getting those started?
Sure thing, very well. We have another big dono of $20 here from Joe Million, who I'm going to assume is a wealthier version of me at this point. So whenever you want to cash in on $20 being $20, let us know. But shout out to your favorite opener being City Elf from Origins, because killing Vaughn almost ties with killing Howe in terms of satisfaction. We also have 10 Canadian monies from Nate Saunders, who gave a cultured take saying Dragon Age 2 is their favorite opener. So I'm glad you got to see us play it last episode. Thank you both for your super thanks. It goes an incredibly long way towards the support of this channel. And it's what inspires our editor to never take a day off in video editing.
Yeah, so like and subscribe for more demon and Biden abuse, but now back to the game. I'm already getting tired of this dude's demon home defense system. The demons just know that I'm him and are giving me a wide berth. Same for any spirits who think they can start a mage revolution or some other stupid nonsense. Ow! Fuck!
Yeah, that was one bone. Since I gave you 3 warnings, keep up the talk with your big mouth. And it will be far worse for you. I'm always here when you're recording, fat ass.
Hey Donald, why is your pinky finger poking out like that? Are you okay?
Yes. I was just doing a victory stretch is all. Nothing to worry about, Sleepy. I am perfectly in control of this situation, and no threats could ever stop me from delivering the based takes the people need.
Ominous, but whatever you say, Double D, good work clearing out the mansion. Too bad Fenris lost out on spinning the block on his master, though. Bro looks more sad than a kid on Christmas when he only gets socks.
At least Fenris is going to let us loot uninterrupted theirs. A really strong mage cowl. It gives decent mana and crit chance, although like all mage helmets, it looks goofy as hell. There's also a standard locked chest, but we don't have the cunning to open that yet.
Well, everything here is about to be ripped down and sold for scrap to fund our deep road stocks. But why the hell can't we open the chests yet? That's your department, Varric. We should be better equipped.
Well, I can't equip Isabella to do that. She hasn't even gotten a level up yet. I will make sure to build Varric properly before we enter the deep road so he can get everything not nailed down. Also, here comes that scene with Fenris, which is our first bit of unique interaction if we are a mage ourselves.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a negative interaction since Bro is acting like he's about to call us a mage slur. At least we get an introduction to his music theme, which is an absolute banger.
Bro is speaking facts here, especially in Kirkwall and Tevinter. He's really not wrong that all mages can fall prey to desperation. Although I'm just gonna tell him, don't judge me by my class. I'm not like other robes, I promise you.
So Donald, when it impacts you, it's suddenly not all mages got it. Too bad we didn't bring Carver here. There is actually a touching scene where Carver is protective of his sibling and tells Fenris to back off. One of the few times Carver is actually a decent sibling and shows care and protection for us.
A broken clock is right twice. Just because Bro has a moment doesn't excuse the 50 other times he is an asshole to us.
Well, speaking of assholes, Donald, unfortunately, no matter what option you pick, because we are a mage, we will always get some rivalry from Fenris because he is naturally on guard with us now. The path to get the least rivalry possible is to pick the option I'm seeking nothing, and then choose the Paragon options for every other dialogue point. Although the rivalry path isn't a bad way to go with Fenris, too.
We should probably go over the rivalry system for the people at home unfamiliar with it. Unlike Origins or Inquisition, where we have to build up positive approval in order to grow our relationship with the squad in 2, we can still do things that they disapprove of, but we end up still being best friends as a rival who respects us rather than a close confidant. This changes the companion's loyalty perk as well as the overall story the companion tells.
It's nice that it lets us play our way, but not all rivalry paths are built the same. From what I've seen on YouTube, Fenris is barely different between the two, while Isabella can have 2 different stories told as a result.
Well, that's likely due to the writing constraints, but we will be sure to point out the different paths when they become relevant to the story well, with Fenris recruited and 2 more gold in our pocket. What's the play now, Donald?
It would make the most sense to recruit Meryl given the theme of this episode, but I know Donald is going to ignore her still.
While seeing Mommy Mythol is tempting, I don't want anything to do with that blood mage or your strange obsession, Joe, so I guess I will go help Carver out with the Hawk family side quest, then find a nice mage Templar mission to do to get the ball rolling on the main plot.
Bro would actively choose doing the only Carver mission over getting my waifu in the squad.
To be fair, this mission does pay surprisingly well, and it should be a main quest, because how else do we buy the mansion in Act 2 as our home base without stealing the will? Also, Mom, stop tripping. We are 2 grown men. We can voice our own displeasure about the servitude if we want to, but so far this week it's been paying off getting us Varric and Fenris in the squad solely because of our clout as a mercenary.
Now you know boy Mom's Barry Mama Hawk is ready to square up at any little slight against her kids.
I don't know if I would call her a boy mom, Joe. She's affectionate to both her son and daughters equally, although now technically she is a boy mom.
Gamlin really is a shitty liar. Ignoring the fact Bro spent the entire inheritance on blackjack and hookers, who the hell doesn't keep the will on them unless there was something in the will you didn't personally want to see or have come to light?
Fun fact about estate laws for the viewers, and I promise this is relevant to the story here. Most estate lawyers, when you are preparing the will, recommend you mention each of your children and living close family members in the will, even if you don't plan on giving them something. This is because if, say, in the case Gamlin is describing that Leandra was not even mentioned in the will, then the child could petition the court that they were left out unintentionally or that there was interference from another family member, since why would a parent leave their child nothing? Often these cases do hold up because a state court has a smaller degree of proof than criminal. So to prevent this, estate planners recommend mentioning every close family member and leaving them something non-valuable like a stamp collection, or just leaving them $1 that way it can almost never be contested.
I'm having a hard time hating him. Playing caretaker for
Getting left
someone
$1 by your rich uncle who worked at Nintendo is devious work, but it's just as sad how many family members come out of the woodwork only when there's money to be made.
Sounds like Carver's thinking the same thing you are, Barack. I guess both of you know how to get your money up sometime, but I doubt our mom is thinking that lucratively. She just wants closure, or some other nonsense that won't pay your bills or get your bag up. And for some reason, our brother is backing out of the deal, too.
Yeah, Carver is the biggest pessimist in the Dragon Age squad, with the exception of maybe Sten. I do find it weird that he's more concerned about the Templars than Hawk is, but I suppose that is his form of sibling concern coming through once again.
What have you heard? Uncle's a chatty drunk. He was up to his neck and signed everything over. That's who has the estate.
I usually do this quest first. It's probably the easiest quest in Act 1 to do. And it gives you an upgrade for your sibling too, but with the mods we have upgrading companion armor isn't as important now.
Well, I don't give a shit about Carver, but this has us killing more Tevinters and hurting their bags, so I'm down. Besides, it brings us one step closer to human nobility, and we all know how much I love human superiority. I mean, just look at this massive wine cellar our grandfather knew how to get down.
So who would like to hear some lore on the Amell family while we curb stomp more Tevinters?
Oh boy, yap incoming.
It's all background killing noise to me, so go off, Queen.
The Amells have been nobility in the free marches since the Fourth Blight, which means well over 400 years. Magic has always been prominent in the Amells, as we see with Hawk and the Human Circle Mage in Origins, who is Hawk's second cousin, who was also born in Kirkwall, but was captured by the Templars and shipped off to the Ferelden Circle. The Mage Warden also had 4 brothers and sisters, who all turned out to be mages and sent to various circles, but we don't know anything else about them. The Amells during Leandra and Gamlin's childhood were one of the most prominent noble families with our grandfather, even obtaining the title of Viscount at one point, however, between the rumors of magic, with the Amell's extended family and their daughter running away with an apostate to Ferelden rumors spread like wildfire, and our grandfather was forced to step down in favor of Dumar, the current Viscount. After this, things just kept getting worse for the Amell's. Leandra and Gamlen's cousin Damien was revealed to be a prominent smuggler, and our grandfather took out loans from a Tevinter merchant group in order to pay for Damien's defense. However, he was arrested anyway. Our grandparents soon after fell ill, with only Gamlen to care for them for about 3 years before dying of wastings. With the heads of the house dead and the extended family torn apart by magic and petty crime, Gamlen was the only one left holding the family's fortune, and we all know how well that went.
First off, I had no idea the Circle Mage Warden had siblings in the world. I hope they didn't get involved in the Venatori nonsense in Inquisition. Secondly, the fact that half of the family's troubles were simply from society's poor view of magic really tells us everything we need to know about how bad this system is.
Or it just shows the type of agenda that BioWare wants to promote, which is feeling bad for mages, while not giving a clear enough picture of what happens when mages are left to their own devices.
Now, free my boy Aristride and Beth and Amell. They deserved better.
I mean, to be fair, we got a very pro-Circle outlook in Origins. The only time we even got to fully question the Circle's necessity is in Awakening with Anders' conversations, and even those were more centrist in viewpoint. We will be getting a broader viewpoint of the issue, something Dragon Age 2 does do well, but 2 does still have the flaw of giving us a more pro-Mage outlook when compared to a pro-Templar outlook. The points that do become pro-Templar feel a little too forced and usually end up not being the right call in the long run.
Well, speaking of pro-mage agenda, we have a small little side quest for Carver that's easy to miss, where we find some documents leading to a Templar who helped our father escape the Circle to marry our mother. It's not the biggest pro-mage example, but it does show that if the Circle rules were not bent a little, we wouldn't even be here.
Just because something good came out of it doesn't mean it was the right thing to do. If everyone left the Circle, we would have a dozen or more Red Cliffs on our hands. Anyway, it's time to clap up the slaver leader and get our bag up. Looks like he even knows who sent us.
Thank God this mage doesn't have the barrier ability, so this fight should be over quickly. Also, it's crazy that we got a key to the cellar that still works when the manor was sold almost a decade ago. You would think they would change the goddamn locks after buying the house, especially since they are doing illegal activities inside it. This break-in is entirely on them.
Kind of crazy that we have this whole wine cellar that we never explore or come back to again. It would have been cool if you could decorate the whole house more to your liking, using gold and other resources, just something to have more money sinks in this game. I didn't find any mods, sadly, that do this, which is a massive L.
Well, thankfully, Inquisition will fix that problem for us anyway. Let's get our bag up, and is that a goddamn ogre head?
That it is. I guess Hawk isn't the only one in the Amell family who is him that's a sick-ass trophy.
Yeah, I need to get one for the White House office too anyways. 9 goddamn gold and the will. Let's go prove who the real fraud in the family is now, boys.
Oh boy, here comes our mother on some bullshit again. This situation reads like a goddamn am I the asshole post.
Advantage of my hospitality. It's only fair if you make something of a monthly contribution.
Reddit, am I the asshole for charging my older sister and her 2 adult children rent for living in my home for over a year? Bro would be valid for asking for this if he didn't steal everything from under his sister's nose.
Gamlen pulled off one of the biggest cases of inheritance fraud in the history of Thetis and still ended up fumbling it. This is the biggest example of a skill issue in the history of Dragon Age.
This is why all my homies hate Uncle Gamlen.
I do feel bad about Gamlen getting only a stipend after he was the one who took care of his family. That's a raw deal when you were the one that was with them when they died.
I wouldn't feel too bad about that. You and Gamlen got the wrong idea from that will by thinking about it too emotionally. Logically, as we see, the grandparents had the right idea. Gamlen was ill-equipped to handle the family's estate and deferred it to Leandra, who would have responsibly managed it and made sure Gamlen was well taken care of. Hell, Leandra might have even given Gamlen most of the wealth. If he was honest about the will, she doesn't seem like someone who wants nobility. She probably would have taken enough for her kids to be comfortable and given the rest to Gamlen anyway.
Thank God she didn't do that, because now we can buy our way back into human nobility, baby. Honestly, I don't even care what the reason was. The fact that Gamlen is bad with money is all the reason I need to hate this guy. But as long as our expedition stocks skyrocket, we can buy our way back and be right on top again.
Well, I don't know about again, but while Mama Hawk begins her Kieran process to petition the Viscount, looks like Carver is going to start his edgelord arc early and blame us for all his trouble.
As annoying as Carver is, this conversation is one of the reasons I prefer him to Bethany. This conversation gives Carver an actual goal which will start an arc towards actual growth depending on the path we set him on. Carver, being a non-mage, didn't get the same attention from his father, and since he had a family of apostates, he felt like he couldn't stand out on his own for fear of attracting too much attention to his apostate family. It also doesn't help that Carver is Jobadan Hawk's sibling, since Hawk is in fact the main character. Carver finally realizes that without having to look after his twin sister anymore, he needs to step away from the shadow of Hawk that he mostly created in his head and go his own way. The gift we are about to give him can set him up one of these paths, whereas Bethany's gift just has us give her a portrait of our mother and comforts her on losing Carver and overcome her feeling of being a burden on Hawk because she is a mage.
Yeah, but Bethany is still the superior sibling, Varric, and 5 conversations with Carver, with 3 of them being arguments, are not doing any favors towards making me like them more.
I mean, sibling relationships are hard to get right, especially if the writer isn't too familiar with them. I think Carver and Bethany each have their strong points in that regard. Hell, this whole quest is about a look at what sibling rivalries can lead to.
This whole damn quest is sibling related. You're telling me they couldn't make sure to consult someone who had a damn brother and sister to get the characters right?
That's a surprisingly good point. Joe Gamlin and Carver do have one big similarity, and that's their frustration over not being the head of house and living in their older sibling's shadow. Only difference is Carver is a fighter and does shit about it, while Gamlin would rather sit back and complain. The sibling relationships are hard to write for. That's why I'm struggling with it in my book currently.
Oh shit, I forgot about the book.
Hey Varric, I'm still interested in borrowing your book sometime so I can...
I'm going to stop you right there. I'm not letting you insult my fantasy novel, but I will let you take a sneak peek about my other book, Ben.
Ben? What the hell is that about?
Well, it's the story of how. This stick is going to bend in your mouth, asshole.
Damn get fucked orange man.
Be sure you're ready to take it. Well, good talk.
Just like Carver, I am left speechless. Varric using Ligma is a scary Uno reverse card.
Well, back to Carver. I mean, he's an asshole, but looks like he at least regrets being one bro, would rather be a soldier than a noble in a position of power. Given what I've seen the last 4 years, I can't really blame him.
Yeah, that's why I'm sticking to my passion and letting non-burnt-out souls lead the charge now. Carver is doing the same thing, just less aggressively.
Well, with the asshole taken care of for now, let's move on to some important business I want to correct. I assure a few of you commenters that I am still a deacon in high standing with the Church of Sandel, and I did not forsake greeting him in favor of my lust for Isabella, but rather because I wanted to be the one to personally greet him with the honor he deserves. Praise be enchantment.
Praise be enchantment.
As we mentioned 2 months ago in our witch hunt special, there is a little bit of a lore inconsistency with Sandel being here, since he was also seen in the Circle Tower in Witch Hunt, which happens at the same time as the first act of Dragon Age 2, which is a year after the Blight.
Yeah, and we already covered that lore break. As a certified Sandel believer, I can tell you that Sandel simply has the power of instant transmission. He was at the Circle Tower to wish POTUS well on his final journey in the series before locking on our Jobadan Hawk's energy and teleporting here to guide us safely in our journey as champion.
It still doesn't explain why Bodan was said to be seen trading at Redcliffe at the same time as Sandel was in the Circle Tower. I mean, sure, Sandel has Goku-level powers, but his dad is just some dude who adopted him.
Oh, well, Goku could teleport others with his power too, so that isn't a nail in Donald's theory, but we all know the real reason why they are here is because they are probably the most recognizable NPCs from Origins, with the exception of maybe Eamon Plus. The only way we are still going to interact with enchantment as players is to stick Sandel here, otherwise we would have to talk to a random circle mage.
That was the biggest fumble of Awakening, if you ask me. Who the hell wants a random square to enchant your weapons and armor? Anyways, I'm trying to do a Templar quest. What the hell is this cutscene? I don't remember this.
Oh right, I almost forgot you haven't played any of the DLCs. This is our last companion, who's a noble from Starkhaven, but otherwise a complete wet blanket of a character. The only good part of this DLC is the Act 3 quest, and that has nothing to do with Sebastian.
BioWare really said, let's make a DLC squad mate completely detached from the plot, besides one scene, and make him Day 1 DLC too. Although content good and bad is content, so we will be doing this side quest as we go along. It's not too long and we can take care of it as we go about the main quests.
Dude seems kind of base to me. That was a cold-ass shot.
I mean, yeah, first impressions matter, Donald, and his is decent. But don't make your expectations too high. What we see here will not be indicative of what we get out of the actual companion in this game.
Wait, hold on. Bro is a member of the ruling family too. That basically makes him a based human noble, but Scottish let's fucking go, lads. And it's a kill quest too that's on brand. The Scots are natural enemies of the world, just like me.
The Scots sure are contentious people.
You just made an enemy for life?
Okay, let's not force the Simpsons reference now. We will go over that later. For now, let's focus on some main quest activities finally this episode.
Well, wait, hold on. As happy as I am to look for another base Templar, if this kill quest recruits Sebastian, shouldn't we handle that now? It goes way better with the companion quest theme in this episode.
You would be half right, but this quest doesn't recruit Sebastian, it's just a prerequisite. Sebastian doesn't officially join the party until Act 2, so like I said, it makes more sense to passively complete it as we go through the main quest.
Wait, that's so dumb we have to pay for this guy and we don't get him until about halfway through the game?
It is very dumb, and it's even worse when you realize he is an archer. So if you don't have Hawk as a rogue archer, longbows have no purpose in Act 1, or at all, if you don't have the DLC since Varric can't use them. But we can cover that later. Let's focus back on an actually cool quest, boys.
This quest is one of our two main showings of the Templars in Kirkwall, and how despite how strict and politically powerful they are in the city, they still have their fair share of logistical problems and internal conflicts. This is also why this quest highlights Cullen and Meredith and their leadership dynamic.
We got the current two biggest haters of the robes in the office at once. It's truly beautiful. Meredith must have had the first pick in the Templar draft this season, picking up Cullen. This is a strong contender for the Templar Bowl this year. Don't worry, ma'am, we are going to get your brother back on the lineup. Paladin Trump is on the case.
You better let Kieran's bitch ass stay suspended in Mage Astra World if you don't want a second broken finger, bitch.
That being said, have you heard of the hit game Among Us?
You need to vent. I know it will be hard for you to be sus, but I know you can do it, Gregory.
Don't call me Gregory, you dementia-ridden dick. Let's go to the happiest place on earth, the gallows. It feels like just yesterday we were here, and yet the oppression is still fresh.
Oh boy, guys, it's time for Fenris' favorite activity, making clickbait. Takes against the oppressed mages like he's click farming. It hasn't even been a full 24 hours since grilling us, and Bro is back on it.
It's not lost on anyone that the man who has spent all his life in slavery is also incredibly pro-Circle Tower, to the point that he views mages as deserving different rights from non-mages.
Yeah, because how many non-mages wipe out an entire town or tear open holes in the veil because they were having a bad day? Bro is speaking facts. We need to keep the mages as far away from the button as possible.
What the hell does that even mean, what button?
Don't have another dementia episode. Sleepy like Fenris here is saying we need to keep the free marches as far away from becoming the Imperium again as possible. And the first step to that is making enough mages bite the curb so they stop getting any funny ideas.
Tevinter did nothing wrong.
I can't tell which one of you is sniffing harder on that coat.
Look, all I'm saying is the Circle should still exist, but the mages should be allowed to govern it, with the Templars being there for emergencies but not being prison guards. This is exactly what Liana and Alistair promote when they are in charge.
And you say I can't read Sleepy? That is exactly what Fenris is trying to prevent from happening, and you are here rolling the red carpet out for them. Liliana and Alistair are just blinded by how cool a mage warden can be and how hot Morrigan is to think rationally. They are creating the Imperium 2 electric boogaloo, just you wait.
Well, if centrist Obama could get a word in here, Donald Jew and Fenris have a point. As cool as Tevinter is for the drones and other important technologies, they are still a very morally degraded and a shitty place to live if you aren't a mage on the top of the pecking order. However, what Fenris misses here is that the key distinction with Tevinter society as opposed to everywhere else is that in Tevinter the ruling class are all mages, and you can't even have political power if you aren't a mage. However, in places like Ferelden and many other countries, mages are not even able to hold positions of power, and no other country has a mage as the ruler. Sure, a mage warden can become RL and Hawk can become Viscount, but only with Templar or the Crown's specific approval.
Classism is alive and well in the Dragon Age world. That's the reason Redcliffe even happened. If Connor was a farm boy when he showed signs, Bro would have never been in Redcliffe long enough to cause problems.
Oh, here we fucking go. Not only are the poor simping over mages, but now they are blaming the elite and the well-off for their misfortunes. Rich or poor, if you're a mage, you're a problem and a threat.
Well, either way, it's a problem that no country has fully solved successfully, which means that the real solution is somewhere in the middle. Also, we could have brought vengeance here for a little more back and forth on the other side of the mage coin.
I don't want to bring the robe, and trust me, I already have a great sense of what his opinion is going on in my mind right now.
Just to point out, it took us like 20 minutes to start talking about mages again this episode.
Well, let's go have a crew meeting to discuss whether anyone has found a body in electrical.
If they all start saying that they were in security when Kieran went missing, we know they are fucking lying.
Nah, it's okay. Me and Ruvina were doing a scan and medical together. We are both safe. Personally, I would look at Mustache Manfred over here. Usually the villain always has a weird mustache.
Well, I'm glad we can be on the same brain cell sometimes. Also, this interaction here brings up an interesting critique over how Meredith is running the Order. These recruits believe Meredith is such a dictator that she would kill recruits who show signs of disobeying orders. No job alive is worth catching a knife in your kidneys by your own boss. Stay safe, boys.
They make an excellent counterpoint, though. We don't want weak Templars in the Order who won't do what's necessary, like slam-dunking a mage baby in the dumpster. Weeding out the weaklings is a better way to have the results you want and also not have a bunch of level 1 crooks becoming mage fodder.
Again, Donald, you're practically praising indoctrination, and for people who hold the highest amount of power in the city, too. It's better if Templars make the judgment themselves, sometimes rather than become smite bots.
Only you and your robe-loving kind would be afraid of smite bots, Sleepy. The good upstanding citizens and the robes who follow the rules have nothing to fear.
All right, sure, Donald, that's why you made our Hawk look like an obese Alistair. We have Mall Cop Alistair role-playing as a Templar before GTA 6. That's crazy.
You know, I wasn't going to say anything, but I've been silently playing the scenario in my head that Trump's Hawk is Alistair's weird redemption arc if he became a drunk instead of the King of Ferelden.
Oh, eat a dick. Just because my big bro is based and Templar pilled doesn't mean that's what I was going for. I modeled it after the Dragon Age version of myself, and you all just respected me enough to compare me to the King of Ferelden.
Yeah, the same way you respected that 40-count nugget in the White House bathroom, you fat ass.
I swear to God I will find a way to deport you.
Well, Donald is talking to himself again, so let's cut back to the next part of this quest.
Oh, hey guys, looks like Cullen is trying to add assault to his rap sheet now, must be trying to build more street cred.
First off, Joe, your pasty ass should never mention the word street cred again. Secondly, we really opened Pandora's box talking about Greg's past cringe moments because not just a week later he decided he had to one-up the receipts we had on him. I don't want to judge a supporter of mine, but if one of you two Democrats wants to talk about it, I won't stop you.
Yeah, no worries, I will take up the torch since I'm the one that started this discussion in the first place. So viewers, literally, a day after we posted our first episode and had the discussion about what Cullen did in 2020, he decided that this drama wasn't recent enough to his liking and got himself arrested for blackmail and revenge porn on a woman who was his ex. Apparently when she broke up with him, instead of seeking closure or moving on like a well-adjusted adult, Bro threatened to leak her nudes in a sex tape so she would keep dating him. So far the case is still ongoing, but apparently he also has a civil court case involving domestic violence of another ex. So unlike the character he loves to portray in his defense, it looks like the real Greg Ellis has trouble pulling.
Given his track record, I imagine Bro is going to take the stand pretending to be Cullen as a character witness. Either way, we are still going to clown him in the hopes he crashes out further, since it will be great for the content. Maybe he would agree to an interview with us during an episode for the added spice.
Yeah, sure, I will get right on the famous voice actor agreeing to do an interview with a YouTube channel that has under 4,000 subs. I'm sure that will do numbers for his defense. I mean, look how well it went for me.
I mean, given the standings of where you're at, Donald, I imagine it went very well for you. In hindsight, you're here now. And with the TikTok ban, I imagine everyone forgot about the number 34.
You have a point. Soon all people will remember about that number as the rule. 34 Morrigan's sweet delicious.
Okay, and just like that, the moment is ruined.
This is the most unimpressive demon showing to date. The Abomination somehow got less threatening between Origins and 2. An Abomination being a force to be reckoned with is a line that will haunt Gregor's fraud allegations for the rest of his years.
With the fodder wiped out, though, we can come to one of the biggest lore stains in the series. Cullen here mentions that usually we only worry about mages falling to possession, but there are a few rare cases where a spirit takes on another form. However, this is proven wrong in almost every other instance. Demons can, of course, possess inanimate objects such as trees at will, and as we will see in this quest, as long as a mage is involved in the abomination process, anyone can be possessed.
Oh God, Obama's nerd out strikes again. It's not a big deal. Cullen is a knight captain, not a lore master nerd. Bama.
Whatever, I think this dialogue just irks me more than usual, because this is where the Lucanus plotline, formed about it being weird he is an abomination, came to light, and I had to deal with that lore clusterfuck for an hour and 20 minutes with every squad mate repeating it.
Don't insult my man, you bitch.
Well, we don't have to worry about that lore break anytime soon, Barry. We are Dragon Age 2-pilled now. So a weird fact about Cullen here, since we've only been talking about his voice actor. In Origins there is a possible ending you can get that is retconned in 2, even if you import a warden with that world state. If you are a Circle mage warden who sided with the mages and then gave the Circle its independence by asking for that boon from Alistair or Honor Cullen, has a crash out that rivals his voice actor and kills several mages in the tower thinking that demons are still in the Circle. He then escapes capture and becomes a Dexter-level serial killer hunting any and all mages.
Oh my God, that's so based. What a missed opportunity. Can you imagine a mage serial killer plotline where you could actually side with him, hunting rogue mages who escape the Circle and could only be sided with if you are not a mage yourself?
Siding with a mage serial killer is absolutely feral. No one would do that. Speaking of, it's time to hit up the Blooming Rose.
Oh, hell yeah, now we are talking, boys. A high-class gentleman's club that gives Templar discounts. This is easy goddamn money, boys. Don't worry, Cullen, my Riz will have them give it up real quick. Oh, and I guess we will find out where Kieran is, too.
It's not surprising Varric and Isabella have the most to say about the Blooming Rose given their roles and occupations. Also hold up, isn't that our old boss?
Joe, that's not even the most surprising. Our goddamn uncle is blowing the rest of the rent money on a quick one.
Nah, bro is definitely just here for the wings. He would never engage in such shenanigans.
It's statistically always true that gentlemen's clubs have the best wings in town. That being said, given how broke gambling is, I have a feeling all bro is about to get is someone to spit on him.
We'll see now if the monogamous marriage between Aveline and Wesley raises some eyebrows. It should be noted that Vivica is not even joking about the fact they serve a lot of Templars. Every named Templar in the game, with the exception of Cullen, Sir Otto, and Meredith, can be seen as a potential NPC customer waiting for service, which includes Thrask, Emmerich, and even Samson, the former Templar. There's a few other notable characters that can be seen purchasing services, which we will cover, the least surprising of which is Isabella.
Came in here a lot. You sure he had time to be a Templar?
I'm telling you, this place is great. I bet they give discounts for how big your holy smite is. Anyways, girl, after you're done admiring my over 5 million power, tell me about your favorite position with Wilmod and where he was taken.
I see Isabella being in your party has the hidden mechanic of improved innuendos.
Do your clients like this charade? It must get dreadfully tiresome.
Whatever do you mean?
Also, goddamn, her head is like a lush rose garden and smells like Liana after a bath. Boys, I've never been more in love.
Joe, you good? Because the fact Varric is here cheating on Bianca in front of her tells us everything we need to know about how much of a trap this is.
Real fun.
Yes, Iduna, I would love to have some real fun.
Oh, goddammit, you two, Donald. We are about to get game ended in a cutscene. You all have the willpower of a goldfish.
We will happily answer any question you have, my bardic princess. I want to take you away from all of this.
I'm here to investigate.
Answer one of my questions first. Who told you about little old me?
Yes, Mage Mommy. I would be happy to share the fact that Vivica gave me the information about how many holy and base Templars like myself you bring pleasure to. She also mentioned your favorite position and that you are a Darktown tramp.
Jesus, half of that information wasn't even what was asked. This blood magic here is working overtime.
Little sewer rat. She will be dealt with.
Yes,
Iduna, we will happily give our lives and our launch codes to you, my exotic wonder of the East. This sacrifice is but a small price to pay for.
Up here comes the game over screen. It's been real, you all. Thank you for the magical year. I'm sorry it has been ended the same way it started. Gooning.
Wake the fuck up, fat ass. You're not getting one over by tits. Hair.
Wait. Oh shit, Donald, use the renegade interrupt quick.
Way ahead of you, Sleepy. I am a Templar main, and there is only one mage to bring me to my knees, and you aren't her hoe.
Wait, what the hell happened? You two shot back up faster than Hunter after hitting his White House stash.
Unnecessary stray there, Barry, but we are not only men of principle, but men devoted to a select few of waifus, and no amount of blood magic and massive knockers could ever change that.
While I wouldn't call you a man, Sleepy, you are otherwise speaking total facts. We would never fall to the temptations of boobs and blood magic. I mean desire and boob magic. No, wait. Magic boobs and blood boobs.
Close enough. So is there any difference in the choice between killing her and sending her to the Templars? I usually always just kill her because she tried to kill us.
The only difference is if you spare her, she will write you a letter in Act 2 saying that she has found the light of the Maker and is seeking absolution. She will then direct you to the first tomb for the Forbidden Knowledge side quest. I already know where all the tombs are, so her being alive is not overly important. The letter does tie the leader Tyrone to these tombs, however, and more importantly, ties Tyrone's plan as well as her magical knowledge to one of the Forbidden Ones.
Well, then that's not good for her, since I already know killing her gives me a little boost to Mommy Isabella's friendship, and she's a mage who tried to kill me. Thanks for revealing your dumb robe hideout's defenses, though it makes each of them biting the curb that much easier.
I understand, Donald, but let me just get one last look in.
Against us if we stand up and fight.
Okay, you got your look. Now it's time to die, boob mage.
You have to die.
No.
I guess you are a renegade for life, Donald. At least you keep your word. On to the final dungeon of the episode now, boys.
Yeah, and looks like despite me holding her life in my hands, she lied about the damn traps being able to be turned off by a switch. I looked all around the entrance and around this room, and I didn't find shit. Next time I will just kill her at the start. It wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Bloodthirsty today, are we? I'm positive the switch is here, though I just think we need a certain amount of cunning to find it. Maybe if we brought Varric instead of the pirate, we could have found it.
Don't diss my girl. She's doing her best. Besides, I would have brought Varric and Fenris over Anders and Carver, but Varric over here wouldn't let me something about extra content. So here we are fighting demons sub-optimally.
Well, the reason is both of them have unique dialogue during the final encounter of this dungeon. Anders is needed to get the best outcome with the quest, and Carver has some unique dialogue with Hawk after seeing abominations and blood mages for the first time. It helps build up some extra approval as well as some solid dialogue enrichment. But we will cover that in a minute. For now, don't forget to loot around this room. We have a codex, our first sample of Deathroot, and
the Frost Warding Rune. I already received a vision from Sandal about it, so keep your panties on Varric. Aren't most of these codex entries the same as the ones from Origins anyway?
A lot of them are repeating, but that doesn't make them any less relevant. And besides, even if you don't care about the lore, the experience you get from collecting these things shouldn't be ignored.
I'm more so just excited to begin our Deathroot collection. Also, Damn the Undead are back. We finally have some more variety in this episode. For the most part, it's just been demons and bandits.
God, I miss Topsider's honor. I really hope it's doing well with POTUS and staying safe. The only small comfort is that the undead are nowhere near as numerous in 2 as opposed to Origins. That is also why Cold Iron runes stopped existing, although I think there's a mod that adds them back.
Well, that was easy goddamn money, and now we found whatever the hell this is, some kind of weird blood mage fetish, I guess.
This girl has stronger veins than the deserter from the prologue. I already know we have some tweakers among us.
Quick, get Hunter in here. Maybe he can talk them down since these are his people.
Eat a dick, Donald Hunter is nowhere near as hardcore as whatever this girl is on. That white lipstick alone is more horrifying than anything the marker could ever create.
So what do we think about Tyrone's plan here? It seems like a lot of work to accomplish nothing but pissing Meredith off.
I appreciate the effort they put into a good meme, but would replacing enough people to cause chaos really work? I think eventually what would happen is mages start getting put down left and right, and all this achieved was a lot of death. I mean, there's no way this handful of dudes were going to take over the city.
I think the robes didn't think this through, and now just like the working girl blood mage, I'm about to make more of their kind bite the curb.
That's a good point, but I think this was the Forbidden One's plan in order to create as much chaos as possible. It's easy to forget that demons' goals are much harder to understand when compared to mortals. As long as chaos, death, and demons get to live inside mortals, they might be satisfied with just that. If you remember in Origins, most demons just want to see the world and be left alone once they have what they want. The Forbidden One who taught Tyrone her blood magic may have darker intentions, wanting to make the mages in Kirkwall as desperate as possible, so more and more turn to blood magic over time, either to expand their influence or for a darker purpose, as we aren't quite sure what the Forbidden One's end goal is besides amassing more power.
That's an interesting idea, but you might be reading more into it, Varric, than the writers intended. I doubt the writers thought that far ahead for a singular main quest, especially when the end result just was a brief cameo in Act 3 and a setup for the Templars being a little disorganized because they aren't locked in enough.
Oh, Mommy Desired Demon, how I missed you.
Bask in it now, boys, because this is the last game that we will ever see our beautiful, stupid, sexy demons. They get completely nerfed in Inquisition, only being referenced, and in Veilguard, they might as well have never existed. Hashtag bring back sexy demons, boys.
That's a movement I'm strongly in favor of. What are these fine demons weak against Barry?
Desired demons, like most other forms of demons, are weak against electricity and nature damage. So like many of these fights, Meryl is always the correct option, being one of the only reliable sources of nature damage. Unfortunately, we won't have her until next episode, but it's something to keep in mind.
No offense, but at this rate, we really don't need the Pokemon type chart, Varric. The only thing that made me sweat is the Hightown Mansion, and now I am fully immortal, boys. This playthrough is about to be a breeze with this brain-dead easy class.
Careful, Donald, you're getting way too cocky. Just by going deathless one episode, the curve for Dragon Age 2 is higher than you think, and we won't always get top-tier type matchups like we have here, unless we reset our Hawk every other encounter later on to give them spells that work with the current enemy.
I mean, you can do that if you want, but other than maybe the Deep Roads and Arashok fight, I think we will be fine if we build and equip the team properly well with the Saturday cartoon Blood Mages. Defeated, we have successfully freed the real Kieran from his Astro World suspension.
Hang on, my Templar brother, before we let you continue your march with the Holy Paladins. We are going to need to watch you scan in medical real quick for us, so we can find out who is the imposter among us.
Nah, no worries, it was me. I am the one who is sus.
Wrong channel, Joe. The reason I wanted to bring Carver here is since this is his first experience seeing abominations firsthand, he begins to see the Mage-Templar debate from a new light, and it's a rather interesting perspective to place yourself in. It's far easier to remember the good in people, especially when there's several beloved companions who are mages. But when you witness the other side and realize that even your loved ones could become monsters of unspeakable horrors, it's easy to see why even a sibling of a mage could support the Templars and want to keep the mages in circles.
Damn, Barry, you're really going off today with the analysis. I guess that's another point towards Carver being a fleshed-out companion. Does Bethany have a similar interaction? I don't normally play non-mage Hawk.
No, Bethany just has a unique interaction that mentions she has always been afraid of demons and as such has a very limited knowledge of them.
Yeah, cool. Stop trying to sell me on Carver. No one wants to have this guy over Bethany. Anyways, is that companion interrupt the reason you wanted me to bring the healer robe with us?
You know me so well, Donald. The other nice touch of this quest is that only Merrill and Anders can detect if Kieran is truly demon-free mage Hawk, and Bethany can't, which helps separate the other two mage companions as more specialized.
My girl pulls a level 20 druid and tastes the ground to see if it smells like demon, which is wild work. Anders, on the other hand, is, well, let's just say more direct.
Okay, I can't lie, that was probably the second most base thing DA2 Anders does in this game. Bro casts testicular torsion on him to see if the demon jumps out or not. Definitely the most effective method. I can't think of a better way, honestly.
You better not be a goddamn snitch. We don't need the Templars going Peter Postal on the Templars just trying to make a bag. Wait, why did I just say that right now? Oh God, I can hear your inner thoughts, and they taste greasy as hell.
Hey, Anders, we definitely want to stir the pot and let Cullen know there's imposters around every corner of the gallows. That would be awful.
Any ounce of appreciation you guys have been building for Carver has gone out the damn window. This dude is trying to bag mommy Isabella like he is the main character.
To be fair, it's working also. If banging Isabella establishes you as the main character, then this story has more main characters than Fairy Tale.
Varric, get out of your sassy man era and stop insulting my girl. She has done nothing wrong.
Not saying she's done something wrong, but if the ball is in the court, it's fair play. All right, Hawk, for the love of God, act natural here.
What? What is it? Good news. Kieran is safe.
Hawk, Anders just had this conversation with you. Do you want to start a crusade? Because this is how you get a crusade.
I already know Anders is screaming internally right now.
Hey, Cullen, I know the base take here is to drown all the demons at birth, but we actually can confirm this dude is good, so feel free to put him back on the payroll. Someone has to mop the robe bloodstains off the gallows.
So this choice doesn't have any major ramifications in the main story, but it does change what side quest becomes available in Act 2. If we reinstate Kieran, we get the quest, How to Frame a Templar. If we tell them Kieran needs to be expelled from the Order, then his family ends up going into debt, and we receive the quest of debt in the family instead. One gives a weapon while another gives gold.
Obama, this degree of yapping is what caused all my supporters to boo you on Monday, just so you know. The nerdy optimization on everything is the culprit, nothing else. Anyways, dude, enjoy your Templar gig and kick a mage in the kidneys for me, will you?
Damn, Donald, you're going to do Barry dirty like that after you two were giggling like schoolgirls at the funeral a few weeks ago. That's a total switch-up. You didn't even do me dirty like that.
Yeah, because I have respect for the dead and dying, and I know your ass is not making it to 2026.
I have to make it to 2026. I need to start my Switch 2 grind now that it's official that shit looks so sleek.
Enjoy being on a ventilator for your Nintendo cash grab, then sleepy with exactly one Mario game and probably a rehashed Pokemon concept. May you get exactly what you all deserve.
Careful, Donald, there's no laws about the Pokemon or what their fans will do to your mailbox. Anyways, now that the main quest is done, we can take care of one more plot point with Carver before we likely slot him on the back burner for an episode or two. We can take the Tobrius documents that we found in the Amell cellar to the mage himself, one of the few mages who is even allowed to walk around the gallows unsupervised, by the way.
The music here does not match the scene going on. The DJ definitely fell asleep at the wheel. As based as our father was for escaping the circle to raise us, it is a skill issue that he needed a Templar's help, while Anders has escaped 7 times with nothing but his chaotic energy.
That's like comparing escaping from an American prison with escaping from a Swiss prison where guards don't even lock the cell doors. The Kirkwall Templars actually care about mage oppression here, while the Ferelden Templars can't even finish off a mage, right?
Phrasing, please.
I mean, Mama Hawk met Malcolm at a noble party, where he was providing magical entertainment to the guests, and they had multiple dates after that, resulting in her getting pregnant. I don't think that screams high security prison.
Well, remember, Meredith didn't take power until a few years before the Fifth Blight, so before Meredith, I imagine the Templars were not nearly as strict and things were run as a regular circle, which meant mages that passed the harrowing had freedoms and could even work outside the tower, as is the case with Malcolm. The fact he proved himself is likely what led the Templar to help Malcolm escape.
Well, I'm glad I came to Kirkwall after Meredith was put in charge then. Also pretty on point of our dad to name a shitty Templar after the bigger shitter in front of us, Carver.
Even fewer like the Templar. Rest well at the Maker's side, Sir Morivard Carver.
This Templar was far nicer than our Carver ever was. At least Bro knows his dad did in fact consider him, and probably liked Carver more, considering we learned Malcolm didn't even want to have mage children.
Hey Carver, I respect your character arc, but can you not be an asshole right now? We are trying to give you some closure on your daddy issues, something no other companion in Dragon Age 2 gets, even though they all have them.
Even when we are nice to this guy, he is a great flaming asshole.
Well, with the only nice action we will give Carver until the end of the series done, we should start to wrap up for this episode. Next time, it's Joe's maiden voyage into Dragon Age 2, so we can see how the Mage Main gets things done.
Yeah, next time, viewers, we will get the best companion in the game, Meryl, and I'll also tackle some of the more difficult main quests, so that the fans can eat good.
Can't wait to see if Sleepy has actual gameplay skills instead of just rambling game knowledge. But viewers, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment question on your favorite companion introduction in the Dragon Age series, as well as leave a like to thumb Joe's ass, and subscribe to keep track of the content train. This episode took a little longer to make as we are beginning the transition towards making longer videos. As the length of the video increases, the time between videos does as well, so 2 weeks between Dragon Age videos may become the new norm, but we won't know for certain. If you want updates on videos, join Fox Discord in the description. And if you like President's content across the multiverse, make sure to join AI Force One, where our editor is a verified creator, along with RAC and US President's Play, and the server has reached over 1,000 members. We thank each of you for the growth of this channel, and we'll see you all next episode with Sleepy Joe. But for now, stay safe, Trump out.